Hello everyone. Today we are going to build a full stack authentication system with message receiving with Mailtrap. We will have login, logout and account creation functionality. You'll be able to reset your password using a code sent to your email, and verification will also be done with email through Mailtrap. Anyway, let's not drag this out. We will start with the backend part right now and then move on to the frontend part. So let's create two folders for backend and frontend. Okay, backend, frontend. Then we need to initialize the project. npm init-y. Well, let's immediately install all the dependencies that we need. All these dependencies will be in the repository. Just copy and paste them. Okay, cookie parser. I will not explain now what each dependency is needed for, because you will see this later in practice. Okay, bgrip.js.env, JSON, web token, we need mongoose for our database, crypto, and course. Maybe MongoDB, maybe then we import. Okay, let's check if all is right. Okay, let's install. Okay, we also need node so as not to close and start our server after changes. Okay, let's immediately change the type to module in package.json. This is necessary for correct for use import, not const. And let's create a file to our server, index.js. Let's import the libraries we need. We start by importing Express, which is our web framework. This will allow us to create the server and handle HTTP requests. We also import .env to manage environment variables, and course to handle cross origin resource sharing. Okay, let's import course. Okay, let's create our Express app. We also initialize .env with .env.config, which loads variables from our .env file into process.env. Let's define the port, and of course we need to use express.json. To to automatically parse incoming JSON requests. Next, we set up our course. This is a crucial step if you want to allow requests from a front-end application that might be running on a different port or domain. In this case, we're allowing requests from localhost we use localhost from React, and allows the following origin. Specifies which domains can make requests to our API with methods get, post, put, and delete. Let's create our main page. We response message hello world, and finally we start the server by calling up.listen with our port. This will make our server listen for incoming requests on the specified port. When the server is successfully running, it will log the URL to the console. Okay, let's port. Okay, let's save all. Now we need to write a script to launch our server. In main, we need to write backend slash index.js. Backend slash index.js. And in scripts, we need to write nodemon backend slash index.js. Okay, let's nodemon backend slash index.js. Now with the command npm run dev, we will launch our server, and everything will work for us. Okay, let's try. Okay, we will follow this link. Let's copy, maybe click. Okay. It displays hello world, which means our server has been successfully launched. Okay, that's good. Now let's create our database. Open Mongo Atlas, click on create project, and give it a name. Okay, and click next and create project. Okay, here click create cluster, select a free plan, and click create deployment. Okay, next we need to create a user and click select connection method. Okay, now we can install MongoDB. Let's go install until we have a link to the database. Open another terminal and install MongoDB. Okay, now while we have a link there, we create our file to connect the database. But first we create our .env and declare our Mongo URI here. Okay, Mongo URI, Okay, here will be our link to the database, but we need to wait. Now let's create the file itself with the connection to our database. Okay, let's create connect db. Okay, first we need to import Mongoose, which is an ODM library for MongoDB. It helps us interact with MongoDB using JavaScript objects rather than raw queries. Okay, let's create export const connect db. Okay, let's try catch and let's start. Let's create a const connection with we use mongoose.connect to establish the connection to our MongoDB database. This method accepts the connection string as an argument. Here we are using process.env mongo URI to access the connection string securely from the environment. And once the connection is successful, we'll log a message to the console with the host of the MongoDB connection. This tells us that the application is successfully connected to the database. Okay, let's connection dot host. Okay, let's wait our link. Okay, 1 second, and I copy this link and we continue. Okay, let's copy and click done. We need to paste in Mongo URI in .env, and let's continue with connectDB function. Now we handle any errors that might occur during the connection process, and exit with process 1. Okay, now we need to give permission to connect from any IP address. Let's now allow access from anywhere and wait. Okay, let's wait. Okay, active. Let's now import our database to index in index.js. Okay, import connect db from .js from db/connectdb.js, and call it when the server starts and see if everything is correct. Okay, now let's create in our user model. Models and user model.js. Okay, first we need to import Mongoose. It's a library for MongoDB, which simplifies working with MongoDB in JavaScript. Now we can start using Mongoose to create our schemas and bundles. Let's define a schema for our user model. A schema defines the structure of the documents in our MongoDB collection. We are using Mongoose.schema to define the schema, which includes fields like email, password, name, and other. Okay, let's start with email. Type string and require true, and also unique. Okay, let's create password. This is another required field of type string, which will store the user's password. Okay, required true. Next, we need name. The name field is also required, and we'll store the user's name. Okay, type string and required true. Okay, we need last login. This field will store the date and time of the user's last login. We set a default value to the current date with using date.now. Okay. Okay, next is verified. This is a boolean field that indicates whether the user's email is verified or not. The default value is false. Okay, false. Next, we need reset password token. Reset password expires at, and verification token, and verification token expires at. This is a string field, and that will store the token, the expiration date, token for email verification, and verification token expiration date of verification token. Let's export our model, and now we can use this user model to create, read, update, and delete users in our MongoDB database. Okay, we create email, password, name, last login is verified, reset password token, expires set, password, verification token, and token expires set. Let's now connect our Mailtrap, which will send messages to users by mail. But in the free version we can only send to our own mail. Okay, we need to create emails.js, email templates.js, and then last mailtrap.config Mailtrap.js. Okay, Mailtrap.config.js. Okay, let's move to email templates and take the code from the repository and paste it into email templates. There are just styles for our messages that we will send. Okay, styles and verification email, password reset email, and password reset success template. Okay, now we need to go to web browser and find Mailtrap there. Okay, Mailtrap. Okay, click and register, and then go to templates. Okay, close. Go to templates and click create new template. Here select the Mailtrap domain is required and write everything else that you need. Okay, welcome email. Welcome to Full Stack Brothers. And category welcome. Okay, let's click continue and click select welcome mail template. Here let me go now and make this design and come back to you so as not to delay, and in the meantime you make yours. Okay, this is the design I got. Let's send tests to our mail this message. Okay, let's click send test, send email. Let's check in mail. Okay, but for some reason nothing loaded for me, but it doesn't matter. Now click finish, and we need integration. Okay, we need to move to integration, and let's check. We need transactional. Okay, click Node.js SDK, and we need to copy and move to VS Code. Okay, let's paste it all here, and now I will show you what needs to be left and what needs to be removed. First we need to create a Mailtrap token in .env. Let's paste our token. Okay, now let's change this line and take the token from .env. Okay, but for this we need import .env. Let's import .env from .env and import our Mailtrap token from .env. Okay, and we need We need to delete all this code. Let's delete. Okay, here change the name that you need. Name of sender. Let's export our const. But we forgot to write .env.config. Okay, .env.config. And well, now we have definitely connected everything. Okay. Okay, let's create our controller. Let's create new folder, controllers, and let's create Auth controller .js. Okay, let's import the user model. From models, user model .js. Next, we need to import bcrypt from bcrypt.js, and the last we need to import crypto from crypto. Okay. Next, we need to build a sign-up function for a user registration system. This function will handle the logic for creating a user, verifying if the user already exists, and sending a verification email. Oops, request, response. First we need to get the email and password and name from the request body. This is the data the user will submit when they sign up for an account. Let's try catch and copy and paste code in catch. Let's make sure the data provided is valid. So we'll first check if the email, password and name are provided. If any of them are missing, we throw an error. Okay, if any of these fields are empty, we will send a response indicating the error. Okay, all fields are required. Next, we need to check if the user already exists in the database. We do this by searching for a user with the same email. If the user already exists, we send a response with 400 status code and a message saying the user already exists. Okay, let's check if user exists. This prevents users from signing up with the same email multiple times. and let's return JSON with success false and message user already exists. Okay. Next, we need to validate the password. If the password is shorter than 6 characters, we return an error message and stop the process. This helps ensure that the user's password is strong enough. Okay, and we return REST status. Let's copy and change message. Okay, and we need password is too short message. Now we need to hash the password before saving it to the database. It's important to never store plain text passwords. We use bcrypt to hash the password. We use a salt rounds value of 10, which determines how secure the hash will be. After that, we generate a verification token. This token will be used to verify the user's email. We use a simply random number generation method to create a 6-digit token. This ensures that each token is unique. Just copy this line and paste. Okay, now we need to create a new user with all the provided details and save it to the database. We set the verification token expire set field to 24 hours from the current time, meaning the verification token will expire after 24 hours. Okay, name verification token, it's verification token, and verification token expire set will expire after 24 hours. Once the user object is created, we save it to the database. Let's create okay, verification token expire set, and next, save our user. Okay, it means 24 hours, and save user in database. Next, we need to generate token and send cookie, but we need to first create this function. Next we create this function in the utils folder. Okay, let's create our token creation function. Create a utils folder and create our generate token and set cookie. Oops, let's copy name and paste. Node.js. First, we need to import the JSON Web Token package, which allows us to easily create and verify GWT tokens in our application. Next, we define a function called generate token and set cookie that takes in 2 arguments with response and user ID, the ID of the user, which will be embedded inside the token to identify the user. Now that we have the function set up, we need to generate GWT token itself. We do this by calling GWT.sign. Passing in the data we want to encode in the token, which is the user ID, and also a secret key from the environment variables. And we need to create this GWT secret in .env. Let's move and create. Okay, GWT secret. And maybe okay, my secret key. Okay. This GWT secret used to sign the token. We also define an expiration time for the token using the expires in option. Here we set it to 7 days. The token is now generated and can be used for authenticating the user for next 7 days. Once the token is generated, we need to send it back to the user's browser as a cookie. To do this, we use the res.cookie method. This method allows us to send the token as an HTTP only cookie, which means the token cannot be accessed with JavaScript, providing an extra layer of security. HTTP only through this ensures the cookie cannot be accessed by JavaScript. Secure process.env Node.env production. This ensures that the cookie is only sent over HTTPS in a production environment. And let's create Node.env in .env. Okay. It's meaning it will be encrypted during transmission. Oops. And same site strict. This ensures that the cookie is only sent in a first party context, protecting against cross-site request forgery, CSCRF attacks. And max age, this sets the cookie's expiration time to 7 days, which matches the expiration time of the token. And we also return token. This allows the other parts of the application to have access to the token if needed. And of course we need to create .env, and let's create a client URL with React application, and that's it. Okay, now let's finish creating the token in our control. This token is used for authenticating the user in future requests. And let's import generate token and set cookie. Okay, next we need to create send verification email. This email will help the user verify their email address and complete the sign up process. But first we need to create this email in our emails.js. Okay. Let's send a success response to the client with 201 status code, indicating that the user was created successfully. Let's copy and paste. Okay, we return user, but without password. Okay, and let's create send verification email. Let's finally create our first email message. Go to email.js and create a new function here. But first let's import all the necessary modules. We'll need email templates for our email content, which are stored in email templates.js. These templates will help us send structured emails. Let's import them. Okay. We also import the configuration for Mailtrap and the sender email from mailtrap.config.js. This will be used to configure the connection and send emails. But okay, sender Mailtrap. Oops, I think we have. Okay, we missed. We need to import from mailtrap.config.js. Can I check? Okay, we created a client, but we need Mailtrap client. Let's change the name of const to Mailtrap client. Mailtrap client. Okay. Let's move to emails and change Mailtrap client. Okay. Now let's define the main function, send verification email, which will send a verification email to the user. The function accepts two parameters: email, the recipient's email address, and verification token, the token generated for verifying the user's email. Okay, verification token. Okay, before sending the email, we need to define the recipient object. In this case, we just have one recipient, which is the user's email address. Next, we'll use the Mailtrap client to send the email. The Mailtrap client.send method allows us to send emails using Mailtrap's SMTP server. We use from the sender's email address to recipient, which is the user's email address that we passed into the function. Okay, next subject. the subject of the email, which is verify your email in this case, but you can change this subject to what you need. HTML, the body of the email is an HTML template. We replace verification code in the template with the actual verification token that we passed to the function. Okay, verification code. And verification token. Let's check in email templates our verification code. Okay, this verification code we replaced with verification token. And category is the category of the email. In this case, it's email verification, which can help us categorize emails in Mailtrap. But you can change this category. Once the email is sent, we log a success message to the console. This helps us confirm that the email was sent successfully. Okay, email sent successfully, and return response. And in catch, we copy and paste code in catch. Okay, let's move to Auth controller and check if all is okay. Okay, let's move on to the next function that we need for verification by email. First, let's define the function and extract the verification code from the request body. Okay, async request response. Okay, here reg.body contains the data sent by the client, and we're extracting the code from it. This is the verification code that the user received in their email. And let's copy and paste code into catch. We check if the user's token matches the one they provided. We need to search for a user in the database whose verification token matches the code and whose token has not expired. We ensure that the token is still valid by comparing its expiration time with the current time. Date that now. Okay. If the token is expired or incorrect, the user should not be provided. Let's check this. If the user is not found, that means either the verification code is incorrect or the token has expired. In that case, we return a 400 error with a clear message. This ensures that if a user tries to verify an expired or incorrect token, they get proper feedback. Like success, false, and message invalid or expired verification token. Okay. Next, if the token is valid, we processed by updating the user's account to mark them as verified. This means the user has successfully verified their email. Since the user has successfully verified their email, we no longer need the verification token. Let's remove it from the database. Okay, this prevents the token from being used again in the future. Okay, verification token expire set, undefined. And now we save the updated user data back to the database. Okay, next let's send a welcome email after successful verification. This function sends an email confirming that their account has been verified. It's always good to provide feedback to the user, but first we need to create this function in emails.js. And finally, if everything goes well, we send a success response back to the client. We return the user data, but we remove the password for security reasons. Let's copy and paste. Okay. And I think that's it. Now we move to create a send welcome email. Okay, but we need to import send verification email. Okay, and create send welcome email. Okay, let's start creating a function to send a successful verification to the email. Let's start by defining our function and extracting the required parameters. Okay, maybe I copy this name. Okay, we create send welcome email. The function takes email and name as parameters. We create a recipient array with the user's email, which Mailtrap requires for sending emails. Okay, const recipient equal email. Okay, let's open try catch and maybe I copy and paste code into catch. Now let's send the welcome email using Mailtrap's API. From sender, the sender's email address, the recipient's email address, the user, template UUID. This is the predefined email template ID from Mailtrap. And template variables. This is where we pass dynamic values like the user's name, so the email feels personal. Let's create template UUID, but let's move and copy. And maybe we also copy template variables. Okay, let's paste and change the name to username. Okay, and if the email is sent successfully, we log the response for debugging purposes. This helps us to track whether the email was actually sent and what response Mailtrap returned. Okay, welcome email sent successfully. and response. And that's it. Okay, let's move and import. Okay, let's import. Okay, here send welcome email. Okay, let's save. Okay, now let's create a login function and logout function. Let's start with login function. Login function handles user authentication. Here we extract the email and password from the request body. These values come from the frontend form where the user enters their credential. But now we use React.body. The next step is to check whether a user with this email exists in our database. Let's copy and paste code in catch and start check the user. Let's user.find1 by email. It searches the database for a user with the given email. If the user does not exist, we return a 400 status code with an error message. Let's check and return a 400 status with invalid credentials. Now, if the user exists, we need to verify their password. Bcrypt.compare by password and user password compares the plain text password entered by the user with the hashed password stored in the database. But if the password is incorrect, we return another 400 status code with the same same error message to avoid leaking information. This ensures that attackers can't figure out whether the issue is the email or password. Let's return. Okay, let's just copy and paste. Next, if the user is authenticated successfully, we generate a GBT token and store it in a cookie. Okay, we stores it in an HTTP only cookie for security reasons, and we also update the user's last login to keep track of when they last login. Okay. Okay, let's save user, and finally we send a success response back to the frontend. And we remove the password field before sending the user data for security reasons. Okay. Now let's save and move to logout function, which is very simple. Here we just delete the authentication cookie by res.clear cookie token and sends a success message. This ensures that once a user logs out, their session is cleared and they need to log in again to access protected routes. Let's clear token. But why error? What we missed? Oh, oops. Okay. And rest that status 200. That JSON success true and message logout successfully. Very simple function. Okay, and that's it. Okay, let's save all. Okay, let's now create a file for our routes. We need to check for now how everything we created works. We will test it in Postman. Let's create Auth route.js. First we import Express and authentication controllers. Okay, let's import Express. We need this to create our routes, and let's import functions. These functions handle the authentication logic, and we import them from the auth controller. Let's log in, log out, sign up, and we need let's say check verify email, or okay, let's copy and paste and remove this. Okay, let's import from controllers auth controller.js. Okay, now we need to create router using express.router. This router object allows us to define our routes separately from the main server file. It helps keep our code modular and clean. Next, we need to define our authentication routes. Let's start with sign up. Okay. We use sign up function. Okay. Next, we need login. This verifies the user's credential. Okay. Next we have the logout route. And the last we need verify email. Okay, but now we just create a sign up, login and logout, and also we need import auth routes in index.js. Okay, from routes auth route.js, and create update use /api/auth. Okay, and we use auth routes. Okay, let's save all. But okay, we need export default router. Okay, let's move and okay, export default router, and let's okay. Oh, oops. Let's change our import Mailtrap client. We need to use import, not const. Okay, import and delete this. Okay, Mailtrap client from Mailtrap. Let's save all. Okay, let's go to Postman and check our first route. Let's try to sign up. We need to enter email, password and name, but only use your email with Mailtrap, otherwise you will not succeed in test mode. Okay, let's create password. And let's create name. Okay, and let's send. Okay, let's send, and as you can see we have created everything successfully. And let's check our database and email. Let's refresh database, and now we have the first user in our database. Okay, update your email and you will have a letter with verification code. Okay, let's now try to log in with this data and see how everything works for us. Okay, maybe I check what we need to log in. Okay, let's create login, and let's just copy our email and password from sign up and paste. Okay, damn, I forgot to remove the comma here. Okay, let's remove comma, and now everything works for us and we can log in. Okay, and as you can see we now have a token in our cookies. Look, okay, let's now verify our email, but first let's add such a route to our routes. Let's import verify email. Okay, router passed. Okay, verify email. But we slightly miss the slash in the logout and verify email routes. Okay, let's verify email function. Now paste the code from your letter here. Check the database and copy the code. And we miss email, and okay, you will be verified. Now everything works, and in the database you have true next to the verification, and of course we receive a new letter. Okay, let's now check our exit from the account, and I will show you how our token is deleted. Let's post and log out. Okay, we have cookies now, but after we log out, we delete our cookies. Okay, let's update, and this token will no longer be there, and we will need to log in again. Now we need a function so that we can reset our password. We will have one function to be able to reset the password, and the second one that will change the old password to a new one. Let's start with forgot password function. This function handles forgotten password requests. When a user forgets their password, they enter their email and we send them a password reset link. Okay. First, we extract the email from the request body. We need this to find the user in our database. Next, we check if the user exists in our database. Let's copy and paste code into cache, and let's use user.find1 by email to look up the user. If no user is found, we return an error. Okay, let's find by email, and let's check if no user is found and return an error. This prevents us from sending reset links to invalid emails. Okay, user not found, and now let's generate a secure reset token. Let's use crypto.randombytes20. Creates a random 20-byte token. We convert it to a hex string so we can store it. And then we set an expiration time for the token. Date that now gives us the current time, and we add 1 hour in milliseconds. This means the token expires in 1 hour. Okay. Now we store the token in the user's record. Reset password token stores the generated token. Reset password expires at stores the expiration time, and we saves the updated user data. Okay, reset token, expire set. And save the updated user data. Next, we send the password reset email. This calls the send password reset email function, but first we need to create it in email.js. Okay, the email contains a reset email. Reset link, not email. We use user email and reset link. The user clicks the link and we verify their token before allowing them to reset the password. We use our frontend URL. Maybe it's React URL, I don't know. You will see this in frontend part in this video. Okay, let's put reset token. And finally we sent a success response. We status 200 and success true, and message password reset link sent to your email. Password reset link sent to your email. And that's it. Let's move to create send password reset email in email.js. Okay, let's export our function send password reset email. This function is responsible for sending password reset emails. It takes two parameters: email, the recipient's email address, and reset URL, the password reset link. First we define the recipient. We wrap the email inside an array with an object email. This format ensures compatibility with our email service provider. Let's open try catch and let's send the email. But first let's paste code into catch and let's send the email. We send the email from sender. The sender's email defined in our config. To recipient, it's the user's email. We need also subject, reset your password, the subject of the email. Okay, reset your password. We need, of course, we need HTML. We use password reset request template, and we use a predefined email template and it contains a placeholder reset URL which we replace with the actual password reset link. Okay, reset URL, replace with reset URL, and the last we need category password reset. It helps track email types. Okay, password reset, and I think that's it. Let's import in Auth controller, send password reset email, and save all. Okay. Next, let's create a reset password function. This function resets a user's password when they provide a valid reset token. It takes two inputs from the request token, the unique password reset token, and the new password. Okay. Let's open try catch and paste code into catch. Okay, first we extract the necessary data from the request. Token comes from the URL parameters and password comes from the request body. Okay, const password from request.body. Now we search for the user with a matching reset token. We look for a user where reset password token matches the provided token and reset password expires is greater than the current time, ensuring the token has not expired. Okay, date now. If we don't find a valid user, we return an error. This prevents authoritated password resets. If the token is invalid or expired, we send a 400 byte request response. Let's copy and paste. Next, we hash the new password before saving it. We use bcrypt to hash the password for security. The 10 represents the sold rounds, how complex the hash will be. Okay, password and 10. Okay, next we update the user's password and remove the reset token. We set the new hashed password and we remove the reset token and expiration time to prevent risk. Okay, hash password user that reset password token to undefined. Okay, undefined user that reset password expire set to undefined. And let's save user in database. And after successfully resetting the password, we sent a confirmation email. This notifies the user that their password was successfully changed, but first we need to create it function in emails.js. Okay, send reset success email to user.email. Okay, and finally let's return a success response to the client with 200 status .json success true, and message password reset successfully. Password reset successfully. Okay, now let's create a send reset success email in email.js. Okay, here's the function we'll be working on. This function sends an email to the user when their password has been successfully reset. It takes one parameter, email, the user's email address. First we define the recipient. The email is wrapped inside an array of objects because the email service expects recipients in this format. Next we send the email using Mailtrap from let's open try catch and paste code into catch, and send the email using Mailtrap. Okay, await Mailtrap client, and that's sent. From sender, from email sender to user's email to recipient, and we need subject, the email title, password reset successfully. HTML, the email content using a template password reset success template without any replace. And the last we need category. It helps categorize the email in Mailtrap. That's password reset. And if the email is sent successfully, we log a message. This helps with debugging. And I think that's it. Let's save all and import in Auth controller. Okay, let's import sender reset success email. Okay, now we need to create our message control to check our verification. Let's create function check verify. This function checks if a user's email is verified. Okay. If user is verified, we return a message, but if not verified, we generate token and sends a verification email. First, we extract the email from the request body. Let's open try catch and copy and paste code into catch. Let's search for the user in the database by user.find1 by mail. It queries the database for a user with a provided email. But let's check if no user is found and return an error response. This prevents errors by stopping the function if the user does not exist. And if the user is already verified, we return this message. No need to resend verification token if they're already verified. We simply exit. We simply return JSON message, and if user is verified, we exit the function here. Okay, you are already verified. And if the user is not verified, we generate a 6-digit verification token. We generate a random number and converts it into a string for email sending. Let's copy this generates random number, its verification token. Let's copy and paste. This is a simple way to create a one-time verification code. And let's copy send verification email and send the verification email. It's a separate function that sends an email with the token. And I think that's all. Okay, save all. Now let's add it to our route. Let's import forget password, reset password, and verify email. Check verify. Check verify. Okay, let's start with forgot password. It's post method / forgot password and use forgot password function. Router that post for reset password. We use / reset password. We use token. Okay, reset password. And the last router, it's check verify. We use / check verify. And we use check verify function. Okay, that's it. Save all and Okay, now let's check the work of our routes in Postman. Let's start with forgot password, and we need email, and let's copy and paste our email. Okay, let's paste, and as you can see, everything works well, and we should receive a letter by email. But I have some small problems, and this message is coming for a very long time. Let's update, but as you can see, it has not arrived yet. Okay, let's a little wait, and we try to update it again. Okay, let's move and try to update again, but let's then check our route with verification, or rather with verification check. Let's pass on our mail, and let's start with check verify. Let's okay, that's right. Let's paste our email, and as you can see, I'm already verified. I already had true next to is verified, and that's why I received that I'm already verified. If there was false, then I would have received a code by email. Look, we already have a code to reset the password, but we'll wait for our message in the mail. Okay. Let's prepare our route for resetting the password for now. It's reset password slash, and we need token. Okay. We'll let's change the password here to a new one. Okay, but for some reason we still haven't received that message, and I'll probably turn it on when it arrives. But I think our demo version has ended. But I don't know. Okay, I finally got a letter. Let's follow the link and copy all this token. Let's copy and paste it into Postman. This will be our token. Just paste it and try to send it. Okay, as you can see, I got an error, but everything will work for you. My trial, my demo version just ended, and I couldn't send the last message, but everything worked for us. I assure you that everything will work for you. It's just ended my demo version. Let me show you what message you will receive. here it is, but it didn't come to me only because my demo version ended. But you sent it this message. Okay, my demo version is ended, but I assure you that everything will work for you. That's my bet. Okay, now we need to initialize our application, upload it to GitHub, and create .getIgnore, and try to ignore all node modules and .env files. We simply will not add them to our repository. Now I just created a repository and copy the code that GitHub gave me. Nothing more. Okay. Give me 1 minute, please. Okay. Git remote and origin. Git push. Okay, now let's open render and upload our backend there. Just repeat after me, and that's it. Just 1 minute. I open render and show you. Okay. In render, click on create a new web service. Here at your repository with code, and just put everything here like I have. Create a name, root directory, backend, build command, it's npm install, and start command npm run dev. Let's click free version and go to our code and copy all our secret variables. Okay, and paste it. The deployment will take a few minutes, and after that I will move you to the front-end part. Let's just wait 1 minute or 2 minutes. My friend will show how to create a front-end part, and it will be very cool. And let's close all, and do not switch and watch this project to the end. You will get a very beautiful and cool mini application for registration. Let's check what we created in our video. We created Mailtrap messages. Okay. We created verify email message. We create welcome message, reset your password message, and passwords reset successfully message, and connect our database. And now I wish you good luck and bye bye. Do not slack off on the frontend part.
Hello everyone, and now we are going to create our frontend part. You can see that our form on the site isn't looking good, but don't worry, as we go through the video we are going to create everything. And so you can see that I'm showing you the batch setup, and you can see that we have technologies like React Hook Form, Axios, Framer Motion, Zod, Zustand, etc. To get the technologies working you need to install them via terminal with the npm install command, and after that you have cloned from the GitHub. Now we create a file where we will store the variable of the server, and we are going to work with it. Next we create our Zustand store. Here we will have the initial data for access in the different components. And so we import the create function from Zustand, Axios, React Justify, and our server variable. Then we immediately create our store and export it. So, we will have two functions passed to the store: set, get, and by default, we set a user now is authenticated also now, error will be false, is loading will be also false, and is checking out false, and message now. Then we are going to create our functions inside the store, and the first function is sign up, which in turn will be asynchronous and accepts mail, password, and name, which will be a string, and we type it by promise and wait. That is, we indicate the function will execute the request but will not return anything as specified void. Then we rewrite isLoading to true and wrap our logic in a try catch block to catch errors. We create a variable. We make a request to the server on our path where we pass the mail, password, and name into the request. Then we override our user with a response from the server and set is authenticated true and is loading also true, and output our result to the console. Next, we are going to check if we have an error. We will output it, but first we do a check. Since we specified that the error is unknown, we can use a check and check if the error is from the server or 400 or 500. Axios throws an error object. It can be either an Axios HTTP error or a try-catch error, and our method checks if the passed object is really an Axios error. If the error belongs to Axios, then we override the Axios error from the store, or display the same error in the toast notification and set isLoading false. Otherwise, if the error is due to a try catch block, we set it our store or throw a new error. Next, we create the store login function, which is essentially the same function as signup, but it only passes in the email and password without a name. Then we change the path to login and pass the email and password to our request. Then we output to the console information about the current state of our store, namely about user, and further, if we have an error is from Axios, we output it, otherwise we throw it out as a new one. Next, we create a function to log out of the account. It is also a asynchronous function and doesn't accept or return anything, but we again set is loaded true and make a request to the server through the HTTP method on our logout path. After that, we override our user, as now is authenticated will be false and is loading also false. Next, I do the same check again, but I change the text in the form of an error message. After writing the ser, I create a types folder where the files of our project will be typed. First of all, we create the exportable interface of our store. It will contain our user, whose interface we will write later, is authenticated will be boolean, error also boolean, is loading also boolean, is checking out boolean, message will be either null or string, since initially we will not have an error, and type our functions. Sign up accepts mail, password, name, which are strings, and it is a promise that doesn't return anything, namely void. Login is the same as sign up but without name, and logout is a promise that will overwrite our data and return nothing either. Next, we export the iUser interface, where we will have information about the user, such as name, email, password, when the account was created, and when it was last joined, and whether it was verified. After that, we create the following exported interfaces, where iSignup has user, which has iUser interface, iAuth login interface with the user property, which is also iUser and iLogout interface, where user is now. After that, we go back to our store and type our functions, namely queries. In signup, we write the iSignup interface to the post method. Then we type our store as iAuth store interface that we created in our type. And the login function in the request is typed as iAuth login. And the logout function is typed as iLogout. After our store, we create a new file where will be our data validation sham. For more details, see the documentation, and if briefly, it is for data validation from the external side, from the client, and TypeScript works at the stage of coding, writing, on the internal side and does not check types on the external side, which is turn does the Zod. We create a pattern file where we will check for correctness of email. Then we import this pattern into our created schema file. We export the created variable signup schema and it will contain a Zod object which will contain a name which will be a string with a minimum value of 1 and the message required. Also, there will be an email which will also be a string with minimum value 1 and the message required. For the message refine allows you to set a custom check where our email pattern is used to check if the entered email corresponds to the format. If not, there will be an error email not valid. Next, our password will be a string with a minimum value of 6 and a message that the minimum is 6 characters. Created at will be date is verified will be boolean, but default false. And the variant of this schema will be signup. Then we copy this schema and create a new login schema by changing the name and removing unnecessary properties. Then we create and immediately export a schema variable where we use discrimination union, which means that we combine schemas by variant. This means that the object must contain a variant and its value determines which schema to set. Internally, we still have an object that requires variant and strictly equals signup. Then we merge schema and add other rules to validate the registry for fields. The second schema for login requires the variant login and is merged with login schema. Next, we export our schema types to automatically get the TypeScript type based on the Zod schema. Thus, schema will automatically match the type boolean created in schema, sign-up schema type will match sign-up schema, and login schema type will match login schema. Next, we go to the sign-up component, then we retrieve our value, namely isLoading, from the Auth store, and the function to call sign-up. Then, from the useForm hook, from React Hook Form, we take the control, form state, method for errors, and the function for submitting forms and the submit. This hook is typed with our sign-up type schema, where we call and import the resolver as Zod resolver. Where we pass our sign-up schema and specify our initial values such as variant, name, email, password, created at, where we will have a new date, and is verified. Then we call the useRouter hook to redirect the user according to the logic in the function. Next, we hang on submit on our form, where we add our code handler submit function and pass our function that we are about to create to it. We create the handler signup function, which specifies that our function will be a submit handler and specifically specifies that the passed function will handle the submission of the form. Next, we pass in the function data, and our function will be asynchronous. Then in it we write a block try catch to catch the error, and in this function we call our function signup, in which we pass our data, namely email, password, name. Through data, and if our data is correctly passed, we will be redirected to the login page, and also we output to the console the state of our user from the storage, and as an error we will output to our toast notification. Then we add our handler signup function into our form. Then on the label element we create controller which we take in React Hook Form. Since input fields are custom, they do not support register method, so to control our input we have to use controller and then pass control method and default value to it, by default empty, and then we pass field which in turn contains onChange, value, and ref. After that, we perform a conditional check. If there is an error, we access errors.name and display it as a message. Then we create another label which have email title, and we do the same for this email and then password. So we copy our controller from our name and add it to our email, but we need to change our name, placeholder, and then we need to change our errors.name to email and password as well. After that, we import our custom button, which will contain title, class name, and type, and also disabled property. After that, we will check if isLoading becomes true once, the form is submitted. If isLoading is true, the button will be disabled. A custom loader with its own class name will be displayed. Next, we take a look at how our form will look, and then I will show you the custom input class and the styles it uses. Then we create a new login component where we'll do the same as in signup component, but with different values. We retrieve the login function and the isLoading property from our store. Then, from the useFrom hook in React Hook Form, we extract control from state for errors and handler submit for handling from submission. This hook is typed with login schema type. We import and call the resolver as Zod resolver, passing in our login schema. We also define our initial values such as a variant, email, and password. Next, we call the useRouter hook to handle user redirection based on our logic. We attach our onSubmit to our form and pass in the handleSubmit function. Inside, we define the function that will handle the form submission. We create the handleLogin function, specifying that it will be of type submitHandler, which means it will specifically handle form submissions. Inside this function, we accept data, the form values. We make the function asynchronous to handle asynchronous operations. Inside the functions, we write a try catch block to handle errors. We call the login function and pass data, specifically email and password. If the login is successful, we redirect the user to the dashboard, our main page. We log the user state from our store to the console. If an error occurs, we display a toast notification with the error message. Then we attach this function to our form. So, under the label element, we create a controller and pass control for managing the input state, default value, and empty string by default, and field to bind the input field to React Hook Form. And also, then we perform a conditional check. If there is an error, we success errors.email and display the error message. We repeat it, the same process for password, with changing values. After that, we import our custom button, passing the title login, a class name, and the type submit property. A disabled condition based on is loading. At this stage, we have successfully created both the login and sign up pages. Here I can an error, but I change Zod resolver. So next we create a utils folder, and inside it we create a formatted date file. Then we define a variable formatted date where the function will accept date string as a string. Inside the function, we create a variable date, where we instantiate a new date object using date string. Then we perform a check. If date string is a number, we return an error. Otherwise, we apply localization to format the date properly. Next, we move to the dashboard component and write the logic there. We retrieve the user and the logout function from our store. Then we create a function, handle logout, which will be triggered when the user clicks the logout button. This function will log the user out of their account. After that, we create a button adding text, class, and type. And also, we are going to attach the handle logout function to it. After that, we are going to access the user object and to retrieve the name and the email. Then, we need to repeat the same process and perform a conditional check. So, now we are going checking if our user is logged in we update there created at time step. Also, we apply localization to format the created at date properly. If we don't have our user created at, we will have an error, no date available. And then similarly, for last login, we retrieve its value from the user object. So now we are testing everything we have created. On the sign-up page, we enter a name, email, and password. We click the Submit button and see that our form is submitted and a spinner appears. After that, we are redirected to the login page where we need to confirm our email. So, we need to enter the email and password and click the login button. After clicking, an error pop up, but don't pay attention to it, it doesn't mean anything. Then, we are redirected to the profile page where we see our email, name, login date, and last login date.